Hey guys, what is up? It's your boy Big Les back with another edition of the Big Pop. We've got quite a lot to cover this week. Two shows, one from WWE, Saturday night's main event, and the big show from AEW, which is Double or Nothing, and some big news coming out of the WWE as well that needs discussing as well. So straight off we'll talk about that news coming out of WWE, and that is the changing of location for WrestleMania next year. New Orleans was booked to be the host city of WrestleMania and is now no longer hosting WrestleMania. WrestleMania next year, the venue is up in the air, but it is one of two places from reports that are coming out at the moment. It could be back to Las Vegas, which is looking the most likely of the two options. The other option, of course, is London, which would be massive for us in the UK. As the second biggest market, we do deserve to get one of the big pay-per-views back over here. We've had Money in the Bank, but nothing as big as one of the big four since SummerSlam in 1992. The reason I think that Vegas will get this is it's all down to money. But it's something that's never happened in WWE history, where a pay-per-view is this big. WrestleMania has changed the city that is hosting it. Not a great decision, to be honest. I was quite looking forward to going to New Orleans, somewhere I've always wanted to visit. Vegas is a very expensive place to go, but obviously if it's there, then that's where we have to go. But apparently this is something to do with a scheduling issue, to do with another major sport that's running a weekend in New Orleans. They didn't want the two to be close together. Bit ridiculous. I think it's all money related, and at the moment TKO are sort of starting to show their true colours a bit, with the everything just being around money really, and it's just all about chasing that extra dollar, pricing the ordinary fans out of tickets, things like that, and it's not on really. But you know, as fans we have to take it. We have to take what they give us, I guess. So that was the main sort of big news story coming out of the wrestling world this week. Is that, I mean, bit disappointed to hear it, but you know, it's one of those things. So Saturday night, WWE had one of their Saturday night's main events that they've scheduled in for this year. I think it's 4 that they've scheduled in, so this was the second of 4. One thing I will say about this, again going back to the money issue, is on YouTube watching this was just painful. Honestly, it was just advert break after advert break in the middle of matches. You know, you just get an advert break and it just ruins the flow of the match that you're watching. I was not impressed with that at all. It was quite annoying actually as well. But let's go through the results from that then. So in our first contest we had Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker versus CM Punk and Sami Zayn. Some controversy coming out of this is that some religious groups are kicking off at the fact that Sami Zayn and CM Punk wore pro-Palestine colours. I don't want to get into the background of all this. It's not really my field, but don't think you can really get two people fired just for supporting what they believe in. You know, people have always worn like crucifixes on their tights and things like that. People don't get fired by other religious groups for that, so I think that's quite ridiculous. Next up, we had Zelina Vega versus Chelsea Green for the women's US title. Now, the less we say about this match, the better. People been really pushing for Zelina Vega to get a push and get more recognised, but more and more matches you see of her, you just see she's just a botch machine. You see the botch 619, and then she just kicks Chelsea Green straight in the face and has possibly broken her nose. So yeah, not a great match, but a retain there for Zelina Vega. Next up we had you can't call it a comedy match because it was done seriously, but R-Truth versus John Cena, non-title match as well. R-Truth versus his childhood hero, as he calls him. Yeah, I think they chose the best opponent they could for Cena here, really. Being that it's a Saturday night's main event, it's not a PLE, it's not a main pay-per-view. So yeah. It finished where they teased that Cena could used the belt to hit R-Truth when the referee was down. Instead, Cena hands back the belt, maybe teasing that he's realised the error of his ways. And then he kicks R-Truth down low, hits the AA and wins the match. Yeah, not a bad match. It's quite entertaining. Well placed, I think. Just something that needed to sort of be on the farewell tour for John Cena. And the t-shirts, the R-Truth t-shirts, his take on the farewell tour t-shirts were brilliant as well. Next you got Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre, the steel cage match to end this rivalry. Good match, solid match, probably the best on the card. They've done what they've had to do. Jesse Ventura on commentary forgetting how a cage match works, kicking off because Damian Priest left the cage through the door and won the match that way. He obviously forgot that that is a way that you can win the match. So Drew McIntyre, I think, is being written off TV for a while because he has some real life injuries that he needs to take care of. He's been working beaten up for a while. So yeah, he's not going to be around for a while, and Damian Priest takes the victory. And then you've got the final match of the evening, which is the title match, which is Jey Uso versus Logan Paul. A bit strange that this wasn't on Backlash, but I get it, they probably had to save something like that for this show. Big sort of angle coming out of this is that John Cena interferes to attack Jey Uso, and then back comes Cody Rhodes from his little break from WrestleMania to help Jey Uso. Jey Uso defeats Logan Paul, and then we've set up Money in the Bank. We've got a match between Jey Uso and Cody versus Logan Paul and John Cena. The story coming out of this, that part of John Cena wanting to ruin wrestling is that getting a belt onto a YouTuber would do just that. So that's the angle they went with. One thing I did forget to mention was Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker, their match at the start. They did defeat Sami Zayn and CM Punk with the help of their new member of their little team, their little new Dangerous Alliance, whatever it's called, with Paul Lee at the helm. And Big Bronson Reed is your new member of that stable, hitting a tsunami on CM Punk. So yeah, he's gone from being Seth's sort of enemy to his friend. So little angle there they've got going on. Yeah, going back to the match that was set up for Money in the Bank, I think WWE's dropped a bit of a bollock there, but obviously they've got this storyline ongoing with CM Punk and Heyman and his crew, but it would have made so much more sense to run it back to the most successful main event in a pay-per-view, one of the PLEs, which was the Money in the Bank match between John Cena and CM Punk. They could have rerun that match, and I think that would have drawn well. I think that would have been a better main event than a sort of throwaway tag team match that we're getting now that means nothing. Yeah, and then talking of Money in the Bank, we've got the direction that's sort of going at the moment. Excuse me. We've got the men so far. So from Raw qualified Seth Rollins, who I honestly think doesn't need to be in that match. He defeated Finn Balor and Sami Zayn. Penta is also qualified for that, along with LA Knight. I can't remember who the other person is now. But there's 4 of them in there. There's 2 spots left. Now, I think it was a mistake not putting Finn Balor into this Money in the Bank match. The direction that I would have went pushing this would have been to have Finn Balor in the ladder match. Finn Balor wins the case, leaving the Judgment Day. Also in that match, I'd put Karrion Kross, who is getting over on his own and needs some recognition. I'd have him in that match, but I wouldn't have him win that match. But I'd also have him become the new leader of Judgment Day, because Judgment Day has become sort of like a bit of a joke stable. and I think with him and Scarlett in there, it becomes a bit more serious. You know, Dominic Mysterio's over on his own. He's massively over. But you get a guy like that leading a faction like that. You know, Judgment Day's got that sort of dark, mysterious thing, and he's got that sort of about his character. I think he's more suited as a leader of the Judgment Day, and he goes in and sorts them out, steers them on the right path. Finn Balor deserves a push. I mean, all the work that he's done, you know, I think maybe the briefcase would be the thing that he needs, like, to go on a good heel run and eventually get that belt, because he won the Universal title, had to give it up, and has not really had much of a sniff since. He's had that one match with the stupid ending where the top rope fell down and he fell off the top rope and the Demon was pinned, which was not very good. There was that angle. Yeah, that's the direction I would have gone. But who knows where they're going to take us still. There's still time to go, and there's still qualifiers to be won. Second pay-per-view of the weekend was AEW's Double or Nothing, which is like their big show of the year, their WrestleMania, if you will. A very, very good pay-per-view. I did want to touch sort of on AEW and the state of AEW at the moment, because their TV has just gone downhill so massively. I was having this discussion with some friends of mine the other day that, you know, their TV is just throwaway at the moment. There's matches for the sake of it. There's angles that don't get settled for ages. There's people that don't appear on TV for week after week, and then you get the same crap every week. But one thing I will say for AEW is that their pay-per-views deliver in-ring on a constant level. The standard of their pay-per-views is always very, very high. I can't fault them for that, to be honest. But I'll go through some of their results and tell you what I thought of it. So first off is Mercedes Moné versus Jamie Hayter in the women's final of the Owen. I'm just not taken by Mercedes Moné. I think she's annoying on the mic. Her ring work's not that great, I don't think. I would have had Jamie Hayter myself, but it makes sense because they're really heavily pushing her. She's like the face that they want to push as a heel, not as a face, but as their sort of face of the women's division. So Mercedes Moné wins that. She gets a title shot against Timeless Toni Storm at All In Texas. Next up we had the FTR versus Nigel McGuinness and Daniel Garcia, with Daddy Magic at ringside. Again, I don't know if FTR as heels is a great idea, but they are doing some great heel work at the moment, sort of picking on Tony Schiavone. That's like an ongoing thing. That's why Nigel McGuinness is injecting himself into this story. In the end, FTR win against Nigel McGuinness and Daniel Garcia, but Nigel McGuinness, it's great to see him back in the ring. Some of his offense is so innovative. I just think it's great to see him working. Hopefully he gets one last run at it, because it was a bit unfair the way that his last run was cut short by his hepatitis illness, unfortunately, that he had. And a local boy for us Kent guys as well, hails from Maidstone. Next up we had a stretcher match between Ricochet and Mark Briscoe for his first gimmick match of the evening. Nice violent affair this. In the end, Ricochet coming out and he absolutely bloodied Mark Briscoe with the scissors, his little trademark spot. And then on Dynamite, Ricochet coming out and saying that everyone seems to be in factions and he wants to build his own faction. So let's see who he gets in his faction. I think it might be Leo Rush and his little group that he's got with him at the moment. I think it's just two of them now. Him and is it Action Andretti that's with him as well? Yeah, those two. It could be those two. Let's see who he gets to have his back. Next up we have the Hurt Syndicate defending the belts against the Sons of Texas, Sammy Guevara and Dustin Rhodes now. So Hurt Syndicate story here is that it's MJF's first ringside appearance with them. He tries to use the dynamite diamond ring that he puts on his hand to cheat, and Bobby Lashley keeps stopping him, and then Bobby Lashley with a spear through the barricade. Big spot in that match. The Hurt Syndicate with their 5th successful title defence, so they are still champions. Next up, we have a title match, which is Okada defending his title against Speedball Mike Bailey. Really good match, really good in-ring work, physical. Okada still your international, intercontinental. What is it? That tournament he won. I should know that, but he is still the champion. The Continental title, mixing it up with the WWE one. Yeah, Continental. They do have to have these similar names, don't they? Next up, we've got Timeless Toni Storm. She's defending against Mina Shirakawa. Some great build up to this. Timeless Toni Storm, the character, I think is so entertaining. She does retain her belt and ends the match with a kiss. So she will then go on to face Mercedes Moné, as I said. Next up was the Anarchy in the Arena match. Now, there was what this match didn't have. There was so much going on in this. A nice little touch. Kenny Omega getting them to play Bodies by Drowning Pool as they were fighting. It worked really well. The crowd absolutely loved it. They ate that up. They went mad for it. We had, what did we have? Thumbtacks on shoes. We had thumbtacks in the mouth. Exploding tables, leaping table spots. We had people jumping off the entrance ways and everything. Really good, entertaining, sort of hardcore style match. Really good. It was won in the end by Swerve, Kenny, Willow Nightingale and the Ops, defeating the Young Bucks. Oh Christ, Young Bucks and the Death Riders, that's it, yeah. Death Riders and the Young Bucks. The pin was taken by Nicholas Jackson. That's when the Swerve Stomp, Swerve did the Swerve Stomp with the Thumbtack trainers, which are actually his trainers, his brand. And then the Ops and the other guys had the rest of them locked in, the rest of the Death Riders locked in the ambulance that was still there from the match earlier, the stretcher match. And then we had a sort of filler match in there just before the main event, which was the Don Callis family versus the Paragon, which, the Paragon, I think it's such a stupid name for a team, which is Adam Cole, the backbreaker, the Messiah of the Backbreaker, and Kyle O'Reilly, versus Kyle Fletcher. Why can I not remember any of their names right now? The Don Callis family. Oh, it was 3 of them anyway, but that was just a filler match. They ended up defeating the Paragon. Not much to say about that, really. And then our main event, Hangman Adam Page versus Will Ospreay in the final of the men's Owen tournament. Really, really good match this. Really physical, really tough, hard hitting, sort of, teasing that you don't know who's going to win this one, who's better than who. I see why they've gone with Hangman Adam Page to win this match. They do love Hangman in this company, and his sort of story that's been going on for 2 years about how he's forgotten about who he was and how he's gone heel and now he's face and he doesn't know who he is and he's starting to find himself. But I honestly thought it was time for Will Ospreay to get a title shot. I thought it might be time for them to put the strap on him. But it does look as if they're going in the direction of Hangman Adam Page versus Moxley, and I think that's where they get the belt back from the Death Riders and get it out of that briefcase. I think they will go with a Hangman Adam Page victory, but a really good match. Good pay-per-view all in all. A couple of forgettable matches, but the rest of it really solid, really good work. I really enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of those 2 shows that I've just covered there down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Do you agree with what I said? Am I wrong? What would you do? What would you change? I'd love to hear from you as always. Keep liking, keep following. subscribe, tell your friends, get them to subscribe if they like wrestling. I am going to do something a bit different for one of my next videos, so it won't be wrestling related, but keep your eyes peeled. I'll do something fun for you guys to enjoy, and then I might do a little download special as well, film some of my goings on at Download Festival that I'm going to in 2 weeks as well. So keep watching and enjoy. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Take care.